sort of the facts about the different types of unconventional fossil fuels and what they are, and I'll have to make it fairly brief, I'm afraid, because there's a lot of information. As you can see, there's a fairly fat report on all the different types of them, and I'll try and give you the sort of summarised version of it. So here's the ones that I'm going to talk about. There's actually a few more than that, some slightly weird ones. So there's the ones that I imagine people might have heard of are shale gas and shale oil, and that's what fracking is used for. And we've got those both being exploited in this country. And then I suspect some other people have heard of tar sands as well, which is in Canada. Well, it's mainly in Canada, in these huge deposits of tar sands where they dig up the entire country. So we'll talk about that in a bit. I think Sue's going to talk about that specifically a bit later as well. And then we've got some other ones. So there's coal bed methane, underground coal gasification. That's when I talked about this new technology for getting energy from coal. Oil shale, which very confusingly is a completely different thing from shale oil. Then there's coal and gas to liquids and methane hydrates and some other ones. So here's the first one, shale gas. So this is basically same natural gas, same stuff as conventional gas, it's just trapped in a different type of rock. And you have to basically break up the rock. It's trapped in little bubbles in the shale. You have to break it all up to extract the gas. So the problems with that is that fracking, when you're pumping lots of very high pressure water mixed with chemicals into the ground to break the rock up, and it basically can pollute the water system. So all those chemicals can find their way into the water system. Industry is desperately trying to say that that's not the case, but the evidence points very much the other way, and it's increasing all the time. The evidence to suggest that fracking is directly leading to water pollution is increasing all the time, particularly in the United States, where it's much more developed. So shale gas and shale oil, very developed in the States. That's where they really kicked off. There was a huge boom in it. Some people even predicting actually that there might be another global economic collapse because the overestimation of the economic value of shale gas has led to a huge investment, similarly like it did in the mortgage markets in the States, and that's suddenly going to all start falling apart. We'll see.
What chemicals are used?
Yeah, so okay, so we'll just talk.
We do have a speaker who's going to deal specifically with shale gas in a presentation later this afternoon, Tisha from Frack Off.
Oh, great. Okay. Who's that?
Tisha from Frack Off.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, so maybe Tisha will talk a bit more in detail.
In more detail.
Just briefly, they put lots of different types of chemicals in it to do stuff like to break up the rock itself better, to stop bacteria clogging up the pipes. So there's a whole variety of different things, and in the States they try and make sure they don't have to say what chemicals in it. They say it's like intellectual property, that if they tell everyone what's in, then everyone will copy them. Whereas actually they just don't want the public to go, oh my god, you're pumping that into the ground. Yep.
That's another point actually, with TTIP coming through, if that comes through, is that likely to basically harmonise along that level?
Yeah, it could potentially do. So TTIP, just to explain, is I can't remember, it's a
transatlantic trade and investment partnership.
There we go. It's basically just a new trade agreement, which is very anti-democratic, and all it's going to really mean is that companies have much more power and governments have less power to stop them doing it. So if one country puts a ban on fracking, for example, then a load of multinational companies could sue that country for doing that, and then go ahead and do fracking anyway. So that's a big thing that people are talking about at the moment. And yes, it does have implications for
It's about TTIP
for fracking.
On the table there.
Oh, great!
So
Yeah.